Hey everybody, welcome to Hitched to Reality. I am John.
I'm Kat.
And we are here to talk about Season 1, Episode 2 of Forbidden Love. And boy, it's a doozy.
Yeah, we met the last couple. I was happy to finally meet them.
We sure did. And it was funny because in the first episode I was talking to you about how we'd never ever see a Muslim woman with a non-Muslim man. It's usually a Muslim man with a non-Muslim woman, so it was interesting to see, or at least start the opposite dynamic.
Yeah, and we're ahead right now. My favorite interaction with them was how she was like, "I want him to convert to Muslim," and then he was like, "I think she's going to end up converting too." I was like, "Y'all, you haven't talked about this. Like, what is going on?"
It's like people who get married
and then decide to talk about whether or not they want to have kids. Yeah,
exactly.
Crazy.
So crazy.
Okay, so we started off with Laurie and Eli. We were with Laurie while she was donating her old clothes and her non-kosher pots and pans.
Well, donating, I mean, she was just giving them to her sister. Yeah, so.
I think she was just going through them with her sister. I think she said she was donating them.
Donating some hoochie mama clothes?
Well, I mean...
No shame. No judgment.
That they flashed stuff on the screen. She looked good. I didn't even think she looked particularly like hoochie, which is never a word.
But she wasn't wearing some of the clothes, like the swimsuit?
Yeah, we didn't see her wearing the swimsuit, but they...
Well, what did that cover? That's the real question.
Yeah, I don't know.
The answer is nothing. So, well, I mean, something, but...
She said, but I looked good, and I thought she looked good in those photos. I didn't, because she's not the kind of person who, like, I would see walking down the street, and I'd be like, ooh. You know? She looked good.
Just because you can wear it doesn't mean you should.
But obviously...
Wear whatever you want to. This is America.
Yeah, totally. And on that note, eat whatever you want to. I thought it was crazy that she was like, I can't eat cheese on my meatballs anymore.
No more cheese on the meatballs.
Well, and I was thinking, like, cheese and crackers, like a nice charcuterie, like, no. Chicken chili nachos, which we eat all the time, no. There's, I mean, a Philly cheesesteak, pepperoni pizza.
Well, I don't think they can eat pork.
No.
Well, so the odd thing is the combination. Because it's like, then you have to have two sinks, one for dairy, one for non-dairy, or one for dairy, one for meat. You have to have two sets of plates. You have to have two sets of,
Sorry to use the word crazy, but I think it's crazy.
Yeah, coming from two non-religious people, but yeah, I mean, it's something that definitely doesn't make sense to me, and it's also one of those things. And I saw this in a Bill Maher did a thing, like a documentary. I think it was called Religulous, where he just went and talked to a whole bunch of religious people and like sort of made fun of them a little bit, but just sort of poked fun and like was just trying to figure out why. And one of the things, and again, I am not Jewish, so I don't know if I'm gonna like murder this, but like, so on the Sabbath, like, you're not allowed to press buttons, you're not allowed to use any technology. And so he visited this Jewish guy who had come up with a bunch of ways around it. So he had a telephone, and so like, instead of pressing the buttons, you would take this little stick and put it in. And so it's like, if you have to go to that much trouble.
Well, and if you're willing to obviously bend the rules in that way.
Right. How important is that rule in 2024?
Yeah. Well, and speaking of rules that people are willing to bend, she was talking about like the positions in which you're allowed to have sex. And then where she said like you can't have doggy style, and the producer was like, you look a little guilty. Yeah, so like,
yeah.
Obviously they are willing to break some rules, and I guess my mind, I don't want to make like the slippery slope argument, because that's not it, but it's like, if you recognize and are willing to disregard certain rules because they don't make sense and they don't have anything to do with whether or not you're going to go to heaven or hell.
Why do them in the first place?
Like, if your belief is these are the rules, and if I don't follow them, I'm going to go to hell, but it's worth it to have doggy style, and it's not worth it to have pepperoni pizza, I just, I don't know. I don't even like pizza.
Well, which is more important, doggy style or pepperoni pizza?
Cheese on meatballs. I just none of
Is that a position that I don't know about?
none of these rules make any sense to me.
Yeah, no, I'm
and
with
like
you.
the really strict religious control of your life, that also doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
And I can't wrap my head around it. And we're gonna get into it, but the wig. Oh, the wig.
Oh, the wig.
Okay.
And again, this is not to denigrate anybody's religion.
No.
I don't want to offend anybody, but this is just our outsiders' views.
Yeah.
And like things that just sort of don't make. And it's like, listen, if you want to have a relationship with God or be religious or whatever, great.
Mm-hmm.
But like, why do you need to like oppress people?
Choose a God that like loves you back,
Right,
kind
right.
of.
Yes.
And so that was one thing that her sister was saying. She was saying like, oh, you know, you're doing this for love, and I just like hope it's worth it. She was like, well, I'm not just doing it for love. And it was like, yeah, you are, because if it wasn't for this guy, you wouldn't be going down this road at all. And the sister was just sort of like in a very caring way being like, I just hope I don't like lose you.
Right.
And it does seem like she is getting a little bit lost. And not that she's like prone to getting lost, but she's gotten lost previously, because she said after all the alcohol stuff, it took her a long time to like kind of come back to center.
Right.
So I do feel concerned for her. You know, if she's the kind of person who like really dives head on into things.
Yeah. Well, there's two sides to the coin too, where, you know, they met in AA.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, so she was in a really dark time. She went to AA and like saved herself basically. So the turning point in her life also involved him.
Right.
So she probably equates him a little bit to her sobriety and her success. So maybe
She's
even
like afraid to give that up.
yeah, so maybe losing him would also be seen as like such an incredible failure, or even more so that she just relates him so much to her success.
Yeah.
Like one of those things where it's just like, you know, you know, you went through AA, so like you were an alcoholic. I guess you were always an alcoholic, but you know, you're better now,
Right.
and you're sober because of AA,
Right.
and he was there.
Right.
So it's almost like you're better and you're sober because of him, not in like a real way.
Right.
But I think it would be easy, right, to like tie those two
Yeah.
things together.
Yeah.
And so like losing him would potentially be losing your sobriety. Like even though just like breakups are incredibly difficult on their own, when it's somebody that you also went through this incredible
Yeah.
journey
Yeah,
on
yeah, yeah.
together, like in a major turning point in your life, it's really hard.
Yeah. It just seems like she's the only one who's needing to make sacrifices.
Well, that's how it goes when you're converting to someone's religion.
Yeah. So I guess I just wish that wasn't happening.
Right, yeah. I mean, you know, because there are also plenty of people out there who are religious and not...
A divided house will not stand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. Okay, speaking of which... All right, so next up we go to Kris and Lenza. Kris is the son of the Pentecostal preacher, though we find out he's retired, so he's not actually.
Once a preacher, always a preacher, baby.
And then Lenza, who is Muslim, and they go through her history a little bit, and she's had 2 failed arranged marriages.
It was a surprising
Journey.
history, yeah. And because I didn't know, but apparently divorce is permitted.
Totally cool.
Not totally cool, but it's like
Cool enough.
that she had an arranged marriage, she had a kid, and then got divorced, and then had another arranged marriage, and
Okay, so another show that we watch is Married at First Sight, and
yeah.
it's like the failed experts. Like, how many marriages that end in divorce are you going to put together before you decide, like, oh, actually, maybe I'm not nailing it so much?
well, those experts
Stink. But so do her parents. They stink at finding her proper husbands, because she said both marriages were like, done. You know? Clap, 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 done.
well, I mean, maybe she's the problem. He said sarcastically.
Yeah, she seems lovely.
Yeah, but I mean, she
Strong, though.
does seem, yeah, exactly.
Right.
And so I think when you are, and again, this is just my observation from watching these stupid shows, the Muslim men who take their religion very seriously, they are the men of the household. Mm-hmm. They are in charge. I mean, listen, I'm in charge of my household. I'm the boss here. Right? Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm the boss, Kat said. But I think that's, and that's like one of the things that I always notice with these shows is they have the Muslim man with the strong, independent, non-Muslim woman, and it's like water and oil. They just don't.
Yeah, mix. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. But I wonder if we didn't get them in the first episode because their story might be short, because they are only dating. They're not engaged. They're not married. She hasn't even told her parents about him, and it doesn't seem like. Does his family know about her?
Yeah, they talked about that.
Oh yeah, the house divided will not stand.
Yeah.
But so they don't live in the same state currently, right?
No, Ohio and Michigan though, so they're.
But she said it was like 5 or 6 hour drive.
True.
That's not nothing.
It's not nothing.
So
it's funny that you mentioned that it's short, because in 90 Day Fiancé the other way, there's that couple. Or no,
Inky and
no, maybe it's UK with the Muslim man and the blonde lady.
Oh yeah, who we never
have barely seen, and we've seen in every single preview that one. I am the man, I am the boss, and then she tries to say something and says, "I am the one who's talking, you know," or something like that. Yeah. But I mean, we've seen them for all of like 10 minutes this whole season.
Yeah.
Because I'm guessing it's going to be short. Because
like
it's
after
gonna
that explode, conversation, blow up, and then die off.
And again, like I don't think it's anything against anybody in particular, but when you grow up in a culture that is like so strict, male dominated, I mean, like if I think it's hard for a man to grow up in that culture where it's like the men are celebrated to just let it go. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because once you have power, it's hard to.
Exactly. Because I mean, like I go on Instagram now and you see all these people making fun of like these alpha males that are out there talking about how the beta males.
And it's just not how you grew up. Yeah.
It's just like idiot, like what is wrong with you, and so like but if you grow up in a culture where that's like revered and you are supposed to be like, I mean, I forget who it was, but even like the mom was telling him like, no, you need to be the man of the household, you need to tell her what to do.
Yeah. So and then we spent some time with Kris and his family. Kris with a K.
Kris.
Yeah. Okay, so we spent some time with Kris and his family, and he goes through a little bit of his history about like watching his dad like speak in tongues, and how like at the church services people are like shaking and convulsing and crying and like hallelujah. It was a lot. Not our culture. Yeah.
No, and I mean.
Blessed be the fruit.
Yeah, I don't, especially like when people, I don't know, I don't want to like offend people, but I just feel like it's so silly.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do?
Yeah, I'm with you.
And like the speaking in tongues.
Yeah.
Like it, may God strike me down with a lightning bolt right now.
Right.
But I don't.
Do it a little bit far away from me.
What would you do?
If you got struck by a lightning bolt right now?
Right now.
Well, I'd be glad it was on camera. I'd be...
That's my wife, everybody.
Well, I mean, we're in business together, and if you suddenly die, I'm glad it's on camera, so hopefully I can go...
Post that shit on Instagram.
Yeah, gotta go viral on that, because this is my last shot. I'll write a book and go on a book tour.
Anyway.
Maybe I'll start speaking in tongues.
Yeah, I wonder if you would not be agnostic anymore.
If you suddenly got struck by lightning while we were
filming right
I think that would convince me.
But so I don't know. Again, it comes down to, and I guess like overall, the speaking in tongues, the Holy Ghosting, the dancing, the whatever, like
and
that.
What about when he like touched that woman and she like fainted? It's like, how does that stuff? I don't know. That is weird.
Well, and so all of that.
Yeah.
Alone.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Okay.
Like again, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
I don't care. But then when it comes to, they have to talk to you about saving you, and like how they have to preach to everybody. Like, if you want to do that in your own group.
Oh, like how
in
at
your
the
own
dinner
church.
table, he was like, right as soon as they sat down trying to convert her.
Yeah.
And she was like.
And I have run into people like that out in public.
Really?
Yeah. There was. So I used to work at Hot Topic.
Same.
And we used to work at the same Hot Topic. And fun fact, she doesn't remember me. But anyway, that was good. I had mutton chops and long hair, so
It was yuck.
I was looking good. But anyway, so imagine that, me with mutton chops, long hair, wearing some black sweatshirt in Panera, and somebody came up to me and said, "You look like an intelligent person." And I was like, "Okay." And he was like, "I'd like to talk to you about Jesus Christ." And I was just like, you know what? I'd rather you didn't. And then he just like went on and like kept like following me around Panera, and I just had to leave.
Wow.
And then one of my roommates in college
Was religious?
Oh, he was evangelical.
Oh.
And he would. So again, so it's okay. So he talked about Jesus all the time, and he would come into our room because I had my room was like separate. So you had the living quarters in the center, and then off to either side you had a bedroom with 2 beds. He was in the other bedroom. He would like knock on our door and come into our room
Like to
while we
talk
were
to you about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
all the time.
That's so weird.
But then he listened to like K-pop,
Okay.
like back before K-pop was K-pop. I was in college a long time ago, and he would listen to it on headphones, loud enough he would listen to it on headphones in the living quarters, so in the shared space.
Yeah.
And he would listen to it on headphones loud enough that I could hear it through my closed door, and he would just walk in circles for hours in the middle of the night. So again, it's like, one of those things where if you want to be religious and you want to speak in tongues and you do your thing and you do it in your church, that's all good. But when you add it into like the evangelical nature and like the preaching and trying to save other people, it's like, you keep that stuff to yourself and I have no problem with it. But when it comes out...
Or when you're in a group of willing participants.
Willing participants, thank you. Yeah, exactly. But when it comes to other people who are unwilling participants... Right. Just shut the fuck up.
Yeah, so like the Panera thing, like I guess being like a female, that sort of brings like a different, because if some random guy came up to me in Panera and started following me and talking to me about stuff, somebody would say something. Somebody would say...
You would hope that somebody would say something. Right.
I'm confident somebody would. Well, but I'm also a big enough mouth that I would be like, stop talking to me. Get away from me. And then if he didn't, somebody would have heard that. And somebody would jump in. But you're a big, huge guy. You're 6'4",
white guy,
so nobody's going to jump in to save you. So that's a yuck. I can't even... Ugh. Okay, so.
Trump them all, baby.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else you wanted to say about Kris and Lenza?
No. Not right now.
Okay. All right, so then we go to Ashley and Muhammad. Ashley has traveled to Missouri, and Muhammad is joining her. And they have that like conversation with, is it the 2 sisters? Are those both sisters?
Yes.
And they're like, do you think he's actually going to come? And she's like, yeah, I trust him. And then I was really glad that he did come, because I was a little worried that since they flew separately, that he was not going to come. But he was probably working or whatever, and also trying to minimize his length of stay.
Yeah, well, I mean, he runs a store with his brother. I don't know if they own it or not. But when you're like the main person of a business, I think it's probably harder to leave.
Right. Yeah.
But anyway, it was,
there's some discussion amongst the sisters about whether or not he's controlling, and apparently she has said that he uses the word obey with her, which is like a very strong word. And it all gets back to that, like, if you want your family to like your partner, probably don't talk about these like problems that you have with him.
Yeah, but I think you and I also like disagree a little bit on that, because I think sometimes it's healthy for people to discuss, to talk about things well, I guess the problem is, I was going to say to talk to somebody without a dog in the fight, but
your family has a dog in the fight.
Your family is on your side inherently, so it'll be hard for them to see things from the other side. So maybe I take all that back. But I think there's a way that you could talk about it that's better. I don't think it's healthy to not talk about problems, but you could also talk to your husband about those things. Like, hey, when you use the word obey,
Yeah.
it sounds like you're trying to get me to obey you. I don't know.
I just, all of these couples do it. They're like,
Yeah.
they talk smack about their partner, and then they're like, gee, I wonder why my family doesn't like them. And it's like, I could explain it to you. I could actually roll back the footage and show you. I don't even have to just tell you. I can show you why they don't like him.
Yeah, well, and like you've said before, if all you do is
talk,
bring your negative energy about your spouse
and
to
never
your
say
family,
when it's good. Because they've been married for 3 years and have a kid, so obviously there are good parts of their relationship, or they would have quit it by now.
100%.
But so, and then we also get into on the fight of whether or not she called him a terrorist, or if she just said the word, Because at first the story that she told was like, no, I didn't say that. I said something different.
At least I didn't call him a terrorist or something like that.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, did she not? But then both sisters were like, no, we heard it. You're lying. And I was like, oh my gosh. So she didn't talk to her sister for 2 years after that fight. That's a lot.
That is a lot. Yeah, so I mean, clearly she felt very, very strongly about that. And I mean, you know, we don't know what discussions they had to bring their relationship back together, but you would think that if they both really wanted to have a relationship, that somebody would apologize.
Yeah, right, because she says, what's her name? Ashley says to the sister, like, I think you should apologize to Muhammad. And she was like, no. Period.
Which I just think is stupid.
Yeah, it is.
Because it's like, you know, you can disagree with your sister's decisions all you want, but it's like we talked about before with her family. Like, the more you push her away, pushing her right into his arms. Right. So if it's in your interest, well, and also, like, I think, and you end up with these families a lot of time where they just want them to get divorced. And it's like, is that the best thing? Like, maybe they could actually work it out.
Right.
Because, you know, even though Muhammad is Muslim and he is, I mean, they've been married for 3 years. She has not converted to Islam. She does not cover her hair all the time. So he's got some flexibility where a lot of other guys don't. So, I mean, you know, there's positive things there.
Yeah.
And, you know, who knows if it's actually going to work out or not, But
even later in this episode, and sorry for going out of order, but even later in this episode, when he brings the outfit for her to wear, and she's like, fine, I'll wear it, but I'm going to style my hair and wear makeup, and he says, fine.
Right. Yeah.
So, like, that's more flexibility than I think a lot of people from that culture would offer.
Right.
So.
It's more flexible than a lot of couples are.
Yeah, right.
So.
Yeah, so maybe divorce is not the answer. And I don't think it is. I think they seem to have a relatively healthy, stable relationship, family drama aside.
From what we're seeing
so far. Which is, like 30 minutes total.
But again, and the compromise where, you know, he said, yeah, I'll be nice to your sister, but you need to work things out with my brother, which is a totally fair compromise. And we'll see, because he also then did bring the thobe, which thobe is a funny word.
It is.
And the head wrap that he wore.
And she said he, like, never wears this.
And so that does seem like a bit of a troll job baiting, where he's going, baiting, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but I do also think, like, the sister should just apologize.
Totally.
Like, even if you don't mean it, like, are you going to really let this destroy your entire family?
And you could give one of those, like, half apologies that's like, I'm sorry that you felt.
Or, like, I didn't mean it.
But if you took it that
way.
Or
you could even say, like, I don't remember saying it, but I am sorry.
Right. Yeah.
You don't need to take, like, even a half apology is better than
nothing.
Because saying nothing is like, I don't have anything to apologize for.
Right. Okay. So next we go to Laurie and Eli, and Laurie goes wig shopping with Eli's mom.
Wig is such a weird word.
Is it?
Just for whatever reason, it just wig.
Yeah. Okay.
But sorry. Just the number of times that I heard the word wig in this episode was a lot.
Yeah.
Wig.
Okay.
Anyway, so they go to the wig shop.
Yeah, and Eli's mom has on a wig to me, which is very, very obvious and wiggy looking. And Laurie tries on a lot of wigs that also, like, as soon as they go onto her head, she's like, this looks fake, this looks like a wig, and she talks about how she really likes her hair, and she always, like, you know, when she's walking by a mirror or whatever, she checks her hair, and it's important to her, and she said, like, this is something that she is having, it seems like, the hardest time with.
I have many thoughts. One of them is, I think there's obviously a lot of religions where women are required to cover their hair. I don't know if there's many, but there's
at least two.
There's at least two. And it just seems silly to me that you would cover your hair with other hair.
Yeah.
And it just seems like you're sort of defeating the purpose. Because if you say you need to cover your hair,
yeah,
and you wear a headscarf
right.
or something like that, that it doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
But it makes sense.
Right.
But wearing a wig to cover your hair, like if the whole point is for
men to not
other men to not see your hair,
right?
But for Jewish people, apparently it's only after you're married that you have to do this.
Yeah.
So it just, I mean the whole covering up for women, I can understand, like,
not
wanting women to dress modestly, I guess. But like to require that you cover your hair and then that you cover your hair with other hair, like it just doesn't, like, I just keep going over and over in my head.
Yeah.
What are you trying to achieve?
Right.
Because if the goal is for people to not see your hair, why does it matter if it's your hair or a wig?
Someone else's hair?
Like, it's still your hair. You
right.
bought it. I own this hair.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start wearing a wig.
Go ahead.
What do you think?
I have this really thick hair it's like,
yeah.
I have a lot of hair. So trying to get this, it's almost like I would have to shave my head to get a wig
right.
because otherwise I would need to, like, ball it up at the back of my neck and I would look like I had, like, a tumor back there. And, like, so I was saying, like, if I had to cover my hair, I would absolutely headscarf over wig, because I also, like, wigs do have, like, a connotation to me of, like, oh, maybe that person is sick.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't want to be walking by people and have them think, like, oh no, does she have cancer? Like, I just wouldn't want that energy around me.
Right.
And I do also like my hair, you know, like, I used to dye my hair when I was younger. I've always had I honestly, I have a lot of hair. My hair is very, very thick. And it's been, like, a long-standing joke in my family that, like, my sister has this much hair, like this much. And I have
Catherine has a lot of hair, and she can't imagine stuffing it under a wig.
Yeah. And, like, if it's so important for my husband to have me cover my hair, like, if I was like, I'm going to shave my head so that I can wear a wig more comfortably.
But that's the thing, because, like, that doesn't even achieve the goal, because the idea is that you hide your hair from... Right. So it's almost like if you shave your head, maybe you're good. I don't have any hair.
But then wouldn't you... Because I'm... Not like, maybe not you in particular, because you're pretty casual about, like, what I look like, and it doesn't really matter to you. But I would think... Well, I do look fine, but if I shaved my head, it's like I would be taking away a positive aspect of myself for my husband so that other men wouldn't have to be burdened by seeing my hair.
And that's, I think, the root issue for me with all of these things, is that it's all for your husband.
Right.
So your hair is for me.
Right.
Your body is for your husband, not for yourself.
Right.
It's not like you need to cover your hair because God wants to see your hair and nobody else. It's your husband.
He's looking down at me.
But that's
lightning. I've got the target.
The blonde lady in the loft. But that's all it's like, it's always about the husband.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, your body is for yourself. It's not for anybody else.
Yeah.
And so it's like, when you have to cover that up for your husband.
This is just another piece of the, like, in some of these couples, I don't feel sorry for, and I'm sure Laurie doesn't want me to feel sorry for her. I'm sure that's not her, like, desired outcome.
Right.
And for most of these couples, I don't feel sorry for them. Like, in, like, the case of Lindsay and Elmer, they're going through struggles, but I don't feel sorry for them at all, because it's like they knew what they were getting into. They signed up for this. Da 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 da.
Yeah.
But for Laurie, I just feel like she is needing to make all these sacrifices, and she's doing it in this, like, brave way where she's like, yeah, I'm just giving away all my clothes because now I'm supposed to dress modestly, and, like, yep, buy pots and pans and buy cheesy meatballs because it's my religion now. And I just, like, I feel like, I don't know,
she seems to be giving up more than anybody else on the show.
Yes, yeah, that's it. That's a great way of saying it. And she's got very nice hair, and it obviously matters to her.
Well, and she seems like a very nice person in general.
Right, maybe that's also part of what's getting
I like her. She's nice. She doesn't seem to have
like
negatives.
I just kind of want to, like, grab her and shake her and be like, are you sure? Like,
yeah.
Like, it's okay if you don't, you know, like, and that's, I guess that's the thing, is there's nobody who's telling her it is okay if you don't, you know, because her boyfriend and the boyfriend's mom are both saying, like, no, you must do this.
Right, because it's not okay if you don't. Yeah. They can't get married if she doesn't do this. So it's, and that's the thing.
But, like, is it really that important? That's what I just don't,
That's the tough part about religion, and that's what, like, it always comes down to, like, with these Muslim men. When their religion is that important to them, it can be problematic.
But they do have the option to be flexible, because Muhammad is being flexible.
Sure. Yeah.
So, like, but Eli's offering no flexibility, and I do. I just feel like she's giving up a lot of herself, and I just want to give her a hug.
Yeah.
And tell her she has nice hair.
Yeah.
And it's okay if she wants to wear a bathing suit that I don't even understand how it works. It's
I
fine.
think it just covers the nips. That's what it looked like to me.
But it's fine.
It's fine.
Ugh. All right. Okay. Anything else that you want to say about the wig store visit? The wig shop owner wasn't wearing a wig? Question mark?
Yeah, it was hard to tell.
Yeah, we were, like, really, really, really looking.
Because I saw a scalp, because she had it parted in the middle, and I saw a scalp, so I thought maybe she wasn't.
But
she said that she did, but maybe that I saw maybe. I don't look at other women's hair, so.
Well, I mean, you noticed that they have hair, but you aren't like a wig or weave, like, spotter.
No.
Yeah.
No. There was this girl I went to college with, and she changed her hair all the time. And then there was one time I said, "Oh, did you cut your hair?" And she looked at me and she goes, "Yeah." And then walked away. And it didn't click for me until, like, years later, and I was like, "Oh, those were wigs."
Oh, like full wigs that she was wearing.
Or weaves. I don't know. I'm just oblivious. So, you know, men are stupid.
Yeah, maybe that's part of why this whole thing doesn't make sense, because, like, what man is really, like, noticing? And who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we go back to Kris and Lenza, and Dad, the preacher, retired preacher Dad, says that she cannot go to heaven without accepting Jesus.
As your Lord and Savior. That's right.
And he also said that she didn't have the choice to be a Muslim, so he is going to convert her, basically. Yeah,
well, it was beautifully played by Kris. So his dad said, you know, oh, it wasn't fair because Lenza's parents forced her to become Muslim, so, you know, she didn't have a choice. And then he said,
like, I didn't have a choice.
Did you give me a choice? He said, no.
Right.
Okay.
Hypocrisy.
Right, but just like hypocrisy, just right in your face, and you just ignore it.
Yeah, right.
Like, it's brought right up to you. Like, you didn't give us a choice. You made us be Pentecostal.
Correct. Moving right along.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm right. You know?
Right. And then he talks about how he preaches to keep people out of hell. It's all very, like, oppressive. Did they say that?
That was speaking in tongues.
Oh, okay.
Lightning.
Yeah.
I'm ready. Take me now.
Yeah. So that was pretty much that scene. A lot of dad being hypocritical and really aggressive about his plans to try to convert her.
Yeah, and then Kris asked his dad, like, you know, can you have a marriage where you have two different religions? And he said, yes, but just because you can doesn't mean it's right.
Yeah.
And then the mom said, a house divided cannot stand.
And then she says it a second time.
She does.
So.
Yep. And it's just like, I do also think that two people with different religions that are important to them would struggle in a marriage, especially if they plan on having kids. Because then how are you going to raise the kids? They're going to be raised Muslim or...
You let them have the choice.
Yeah, I don't... Kids are just like sponges and impressionable, so it's like how can they actually have a choice?
Well, because they're seeing two different things, so they get both.
True. But do they have the choice of none? That's the real question.
Well, it's almost like, I guess I have trouble seeing them picking one, because, like, how can you pick one parent over the other unless one parent is a loser burger?
Just go on.
Moving right along. So that would make it easy to pick one religion over the other.
Right.
But if you have both and love both parents, then maybe the choice is none. Or a third religion. Just become Buddhist. How come we don't get any Buddhists? Because there wouldn't be enough drama, because they're too peaceful.
Too peaceful.
Too peaceful. Okay. All right. So then our last scene is we go back to Ashley and Muhammad. Muhammad arrives to Missouri. Ashley picks him up from the airport, and he doesn't like what she's wearing in the car. He thinks it's too revealing, which I thought was interesting because that was the first time he had, like, sort of gone that way. And this is where we get into the whole thobe and what was the other, abaya and the headscarf, and whether or not she's going to wear it. So.
Well, and she also pointed out that men are supposed to be covered up too, navel to knees. Men are supposed to be covered up too, navel to knees, and I guess not wear a shirt. But then Mahmoud didn't wear a shirt at that Egyptian pool. So rules only matter for the women, all right? You know, the men can do whatever they want, basically.
But you're right, because even when he was giving her a hard time about what she was wearing, she was like, A, I'm not Muslim, so I can wear what I want. B, you are a Muslim, and I can see your
juicy
thigh.
thighs.
Yeah, right, exactly. So.
Women love a good thigh, you know?
Yeah. Gonna keep them up at night. So one thing she does say is that him showing up in the thobe is going to come across as like a big FU to her family, which, like, I wasn't totally sure that I agreed with that, but the fact that he never wears that on his own is like...
Yeah, it's a troll job, for sure.
He's coming in with a grenade in his hand.
Right, because we've never seen him wear it. She says she never sees him wear it. And so it's like he's clearly doing it, maybe not as an FU, but as like a
statement.
Exactly. It is a statement. It is a strong statement, and it's not a great statement. And like, listen, just the outfit on its own,
totally fine.
Whatever.
Right.
But
wearing
again, it's the
something
context.
that you never ever wear.
Yeah.
Because we saw him and his brother stocking the store, and they both had on, like, collared shirts.
Yeah. And shorts. You know, and I think...
You noticed their thighs?
Looking at their juicy thighs. So, yeah, no, it's definitely a statement, and I think what you said where it's like bait is...
Yeah.
Like, it's like he is just waiting for somebody to say something negative so that he never has to go back there again. And I think he would probably enjoy that. Because, like, he even said, like, if they say something rude to me, I'm going to leave.
Yeah.
They're never going to see my wife again.
Right, yeah.
They're never going to see my daughter again. Like, that was a strong stance.
He basically, like, before anything even happened, he said, like, I'm going to play the nuclear card.
Same way that Shekinah came with that 143-page letter from her ex-boyfriend and was just dying to throw that on the table.
Yeah.
He's ready to go.
Yeah. Right.
So,
yeah, he brought his fighting
yes.
face.
And I'm sure that was planned, where it's like, yeah, sure, I'll go back to Missouri and see your family, and I'll make sure it's the last time I do.
Yeah. Well, okay. So, what did you think of this episode?
I thought it was good.
Yeah.
Drama.
Yeah. Scale of 1 to 10.
I give it a 9.
A 9.
Yeah, it was very entertaining.
Yeah.
It was late at night for us, 8:30, and so, yeah. No, I mean, I think they.
I think the show was cast really well.
Yeah. And we'll see how it goes. And like I'm trying to be nice about the whole religion thing, without. Not that anybody's ever watching this or listening to it anyway, but just in case it shows up somewhere, I don't want to offend people, but.
Yeah. I'm a little less worried about offending people.
Really? So do you want me to just go ham?
Well, you know who I don't want to offend?
There is no God.
If we ever do one where Angela is involved,
yeah,
I'm afraid of her. She's
frightening.
She seems like she would just show up at our door and like start breaking our cars, like smashing our windows.
We're not going to get a cease and desist letter from her. No.
No, right. She's just going to roll up.
Yeah. But it is interesting that there are this many people in different religions. And I was even and I guess for me, because I don't know how much into my personal life I should get, but there was a Jewish girl that I dated, and she had said that she A, wanted to have kids, which was a no for me, and B, wanted to raise those kids Jewish, which again, religion for me is a no-go. And so that's why I dumped her. No, that's why we broke up. But like, it just seems like, I don't know, like you know what religions they are from the start? Or like, if religion is that important to you, shouldn't you look for that in another partner? And I guess Laurie and Eli's situation is very different, but it seems like if you know that religion is a point of contention.
Well, like with Kris and Lenza, how they both seem to think that their religion is very important to them.
Right.
So like how they said like, they met in like that work group chat or something like that. And she said like right off the bat, it was a no because I knew he was Pentecostal.
Yeah.
And it's like,
why did you say yes?
Here you are.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know, looks, maybe.
Yeah.
It just, I guess for me, there were easy, not red flag, I don't want to say red flags, but like there's the no list, where it's like deal breakers.
Yeah, right.
And so like being super religious for me is a deal breaker. And I would have thought that if you are Pentecostal, and that is something that is very important to you, not being Pentecostal would be a deal breaker.
So John and I's first date, he talked about being an atheist like no less than 5 times. I almost didn't go on a second date with him because I'm got me with his looks. Those juicy thighs. I'm not religious, but I don't like, the same way that the Pentecostal people like go out and try to convert people. I was like, whoa, he is coming on really strong with the atheist thing. And I was just like, I'd like a more casual approach to whatever it is. And it hasn't been an issue since that like first date. Cause except for now during this podcast, you like don't really talk about it a lot. But that's the thing is like, I feel like religion is something that it's like, okay, you want to go do it on Sundays? I'll be here when you get back, and if like that's what it is, it's fine. But like there was also like that time that someone said like, I'm going to pray for you. And I was like, just keep it to yourself.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess the pray for you thing is one thing. If it's was that when you had
I was traveling and he said he was going to pray for me.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
And then you never talked to him again.
No, it wasn't that I never talked to him again, but it was a contributing factor to why we were no longer talking. Because he was like, I could feel you like, even though we weren't like together, it was like, I could feel you tense up when I said that. I was like, yeah, I did. Cause I don't want you to pray for me. I don't want you to aim lightning my way. I just want to live my life.
Sorry that I aimed lightning in our general direction.
Yeah, I mean, if you get this house burned down, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah, if you have insurance. Act of God.
Okay.
Well, I mean, literally. So if I say, like, God, smite me now, and then I get smote, and the whole house burns down,
Yeah.
how could you not say that's an act of God?
Well, clearly it would be, but I think
Right.
does insurance cover act of God? I thought that was what they don't cover.
Oh, I don't know. Well, then I guess you're out of luck.
That's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
keep your prayers to yourself.
I gave her a kiss on the first date. She said, "Cool." After.
Cool. All right.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching and listening. You can check us out on Instagram, where we currently have 0 posts.